What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Got a client interview here. Got Evan Mendoza. Evan is an absolute beast. He's had a ton of success in my program. But Evan, I'll let you take it away. Give me a quick intro and then we'll get into it.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. My name is Evan Mendoza. I played 7 years professional baseball, three at the college level in the ACC at NC State. Been playing baseball my whole life, obviously. Have done the in-person training, the private lessons route for a little bit back in like 2019. I thought I was making a killing, working my butt off. Like, I think I capped out at like two lessons a day at some like local church park until it started getting dark. But I thought I was making a lot of money doing that. I enjoyed coaching and obviously putting out some free game on social media. But um, yeah, I've been in the program for a little while and have really enjoyed my time so far.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you jumping on, dude. And it's probably pretty easy to enjoy the program when you're making a lot of money. So we can get into that. But maybe if you just want to talk a little bit about, kind of like your success thus far, and where you were at before you joined, and we can take it from there.
Yeah, as far as like my story, as far as like online training goes, right? So I started, so I got hurt in 2023, which was last year. I got hurt. I pulled basically my groin, and I was in Arizona, probably 20 minutes away from you, and never connected with you, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I was in Peoria, Arizona, working out, rehabbing for half of my day, usually until noon, and then the other half I was uh, building up my social media presence, which I've been doing for past 4 years or so. Putting out some like really good educational content, but had like no real CTA until I figured out like the Stand Store, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is awesome! Easy way to sell digital products, coaching, etc. Did Stand Store, realized it was very limited in features and capabilities. So I was doing that for probably a month and a half, maybe two, and kind of made a killing. Like I was selling like a $30 workout program subscription, made like $1,000 in the first month, and I was like, yo, this is a lot of money. Let's go. The next 2 weeks of the second month, I made another $1,000, and I think basically I was on like a pretty good growth. I was like, okay, made $1,000. Next month, made two, and I was like, okay, let's just keep this going. And because Stan didn't really offer a ton of like features, I switched over to Kajabi, which is basically where I host my academy now. And I had a ton of people drop off. I had like literally 60 athletes join into my workout programs. And then after I transitioned over to Kajabi, I think I had like three. And I was like, ooh, okay, that hurt. Um, and basically that was like in like maybe August, maybe September when I transitioned over of 2023. And basically for the past like 6 months or so, been making like anywhere from 300 to like $800 a month. And I was like, what's going on here? I know that there's a potential of online training, but like, what am I doing wrong? And obviously, I was selling an extremely low ticket offer as far as my expertise and everything. Um, but I didn't know what the right way to do things was. I didn't know how to really create content to sell. I knew how to create content to grab attention, but I didn't know how to, market to those individuals. So, as far as like joining in to the program, I found a lot of success by, putting the pieces together. Like you mentioned on our sales call, like you told me I had a lot of the pieces of the puzzle. It's all about just like putting them in the right way, packaging it up the right way, and obviously selling on social media the right way. So um, I was very hard-headed, to be honest with you. Like I studied aerospace engineering in college. I thought I was an alpha mind of just knowing how to do things the right way, and obviously my bank account didn't really show for it as far as my revenue coming in from the academy. So very, very hard-headed. I was actually very skeptical of you the first time that I ever came across your profile that a teammate sent me, and I already sent you that screenshot, so you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I was skeptical, and then another buddy, sent me your profile and basically let me in on the secret, and I was just like, okay, cool. hopped on a call. Actually, I didn't even hop on a call with you. I hopped on a call with Ian, and you kind of snatched his phone for like 2 hours. We chatted, and I was like, dang, this guy talks my language. Let's go. This is awesome. No one really gets this to this level. And obviously, that was just the tip of the iceberg. Once I got into the academy, it was just all um, very eye-opening experiences, education. Obviously, I had like a really strong willingness to learn. Um, you know, taking notes, just I guess absorbing all the information that you were, creating in those modules and just putting them to use and actually doing them. I think that's a big thing. So that's how I've kind of found the success so far.
Dude, that's cool. I didn't know you were an aerospace engineering major in college. That makes a lot of sense though. A lot of sense. But no, I think it's cool and like that's something that like I get a lot, you know, people are like, who is this guy? Like I've never heard of him. Like, is it too good to be true? And we were actually talking about it a little bit off camera how, you know, some of the success stories that I put out there, people literally cannot believe them because they're so good. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about, you know, the success that you've had, maybe, you know, the dollar amount or whatever you're
Yeah,
comfortable sharing, but like maybe just talk a little bit more like kind of like the success you've seen um since you joined.
yeah. I mean, as far as the dollar amount, I feel like it's sometimes like I don't want to say an unrealistic goal to, what your program can offer because I feel like for the most part, a lot of the deep understandings like was there. I had the social media understanding, the presence already. I had a pretty, engaging audience. So like I had a lot of things that I used as leverage joining into the program, which, for a lot of probably people that are getting into online training might not necessarily have. I had an understanding of how to do, email sequences. I knew how to do, if I really wanted to utilize the weapon of, SMS marketing, I could have implemented that. I understood how to use ManyChat, like all these tools that probably people don't even have a clue what I'm talking about. I knew how to, create web pages. I already had my domain, my website. Like these were all weapons that I've acquired over the past 3 or 4 years of doing social media and just being in this experimental mode of let's try this. If it doesn't work, who cares? At the very worst, I get to learn something. So I felt like I had a lot of advantage going into it, but basically I wrote down like week by week, like how many calls I had, how many showed up, and the dollar amount. And like the first week, it kind of, to be honest, the first 2 weeks started off slow. Like I didn't have a ton of calls. I think I had like 10 calls total and maybe like five of them showed. So obviously I had a pretty bad show rate. Obviously I learned how to track all that stuff through the program. And I only had one kid join on a monthly, which I quickly realized I don't want to sell. And I was at $350 a month, which was the most amount of money anyone has ever paid me for a single month of working together, which I was like, whoa, that's awesome. $350, let's go. But then, of course, had the understanding of what churn rate was, and I was like, "Oh shoot, this guy's probably going to cancel after the first month for sure," which he ended up doing, which is the reason why, I price things differently now. Obviously, learning through the program, but basically things started picking up around like the 3 week mark, and ever since it's been, basically a sale at least every single week, if not two or three. So week three, I had like 20 calls. A lot of them showed. I got $2,000. Week four, close to 30 calls. Uh, 24 of them showed. So I kind of started figuring out the show rate issue that I had in my systems. $3,800 in week four. Week five, got 4 grand. Week six, 38. Week seven, 58. And basically over roughly a 2 month period. So um, made around 20 G's, which is
That's
insane.
nuts.
And it really came together in like the last probably 6 weeks because the first 2 weeks were like non-existent. But I joined the program January 24th, February 24th, a month later, I netted close to 7 grand. And that was just out like a few sales, maybe three of them. Um, But the best month, obviously, has been February 24th to today, which is on date of recording is March 21st, close to 14K. So obviously going in the right direction. But I feel like I'm just, scratching the surface of the potential of, doing things the right way, tracking a lot of information, and just, being detail oriented in, what I'm doing and making sure that I'm, of course, providing a great product and service to my existing students.
Definitely. No, I think, you providing a little bit of context in terms of like you had a lot of tools in your tool belt already. You know what I mean? Like you know how to do a lot of stuff that like nobody in my program really knows how to do, right? But I think it's funny that I think something that you've learned and something that we're constantly trying to work on together is like knowing what tool to use when, right? Um, because like, dude, you're obviously a really smart guy. You obviously are super hardworking. You obviously have a lot of baseball experience and a lot of baseball knowledge. Like for me, what I feel like I've helped you with, and maybe like you can tell me I'm wrong, but like, I feel like I've just told you like,
Go straight. Go to what I need to go towards. And
yeah,
that's probably what you're gonna say. Sorry for interrupting, but
I,
no, that's been something that, you and I have had conversations about, and you're just like, you make fun of me to my face, and then I feel bad about myself, and I'm like, okay, let's just like take a quick second to like reflect, right? Um, Mick's done this for a lot longer than I have. Um, you and I have had conversations because like you're in, for those that don't know, Nick's in like a bigger mastermind. So there's levels to it. And the biggest thing that I was able to like gain a little piece of nugget from a conversation about that other mastermind with you was that these individuals are no different than you and I. They act very quick, they're quick to make decisions, but they let the ego of themselves being right get away from making a decision. So I had this grand idea that I was going to create basically a separate funnel and charge my freebie as like 99 cents or 4.99 or whatever. And I completely shifted everything at like the 3 week mark. I made the most money that I've ever made. And you just kind of just told me how it is. It's like, dude, you've made so much money already. Why are you going to change something? Like, there's no reason to actually implement this. And I kind of was just like, okay, I need to actually like I don't know, take the advice that you were giving me and leaving the ego aside, like, okay, let's just make my program better. I don't need to actually sell this for a cost. I'm gonna just create this huge package as a freebie, as a lead magnet, instead of charging these people 4.99 to get them in the door. Um, and it's gotten to the point where over here, I'll just take it out. But I have this literally on my wall, and you sent it over to me. It's basically just sticking to one funnel. Do you remember sending me this?
yeah.
So it's basically just like a constant reminder that I haven't done anything yet. Um, and like my one funnel can make me a lot of money, but don't get sidetracked of that one funnel. Like continue to elevate the systems, the tracking, the analytics, the systems, the almost like the user experience of it all. And don't try to like change. If anything, modify the existing to make it better. Maybe do some A/B testing. But yeah, the biggest thing probably for me, as far as like what I've been able to value inside your program is just being very like narrow-minded into doing one thing and doing that one thing very well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, dude, like I've told you this like a million times. Like you've had all the tools. You've had way more tools than you actually needed. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think is kind of funny is like the way, like especially the way that I teach it, like you really don't need a whole lot, right? And so you had like I kind of think of it like you had all these tools like laying on the ground around you, but like really all you needed was like a small hammer and just to tap it once and boom, the machine would start working, right? Because you've done so much work. And I think, something that I've really learned recently is sometimes you need somebody who's just a little bit further along than you to, hold you accountable, let you know when, you're kind of getting in your own way, and just continue to point you in the right direction. Because like, dude, I all the time I'm like, I want to expand, I want to do this, I want to do that. And then, what do people in my mastermind say? What are you doing? Like your program is literally blown up. Like you are growing so fast. What are you doing? Like just do the same thing. And I think for you now, obviously you can keep going, but like what what would you say your plans are for the future in terms of like, your business, your remote business? Where do you see this going?
Yeah, I mean that's something that because of the recent successes, I feel like I've had the ability to think and dream a little bit bigger. Whereas previously I was just like in this hopeful stage of like maybe it's gonna work out if I figure it out one day, but making $500 a month really isn't going to be sustainable for that much of time. So it's more of just a hobby when you're making, pocket change kind of like that. But where it's actually like a full-on business, I think it's just more about just delegating tasks that are somewhat repetitive and repeatable. Making sure that, of course, I'm still showing face when I need to, and making sure that I'm delivering a solid product and service to these students, making sure that I can inspire them and build confidence in their game because, a big reason why I'm creating this academy is kind of for my younger self. But my younger self was very inspired by my freshman year high school baseball coach. He's no longer with us. He committed suicide after I left. So my freshman year, I was up in Maryland. Sophomore year, my family and I moved down to Sarasota, Florida. Better baseball, better competition, and that freshman year high school coach just like left a mark on me. Obviously, he um, helped build my confidence up. He let me like in a sense spread my wings. And I think I realized that the power of one individual, one coach can make such a big difference on a player's career and the longevity of that career. So I'm just trying to deliver that to, as many students as I possibly can. Um, Without like ever it feeling like I'm dissociated from my business. At the end of the day, I will have to delegate a lot of tasks that are repetitive and making sure that my time is sacred to helping these students out. Is there a way to do it the right way and a wrong way? I believe yes. So figuring out what those right ways are to do it that are most efficient is what my mind will be on in the next probably 6 to 12 months.
Definitely. I appreciate you sharing. I didn't know that about your coach. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's not easy.
yeah. But on the bright side, Jackson Merrill, he just made his debut with the Padres, and he got drafted first round by the Padres out of Severna Park High School in Severna Park, Maryland, and that's the high school where I um, was on varsity as a freshman. We went to the state championship game. I was a two-way back then, pitcher, shortstop. Started the state championship game as a freshman and gave up 6 runs in 2/3 of an inning. So yeah, it kind of got the game off to a bad start, but we came back, tied it, ultimately lost. But really good memories that year, my freshman year. A lot of growth mentally, and as far as like my confidence level was just through the roof.
Yeah. No, I think like you get into coaching because you want to impact the game, like, and I think, at least in my opinion, doing it through the online space, like you're able to, like, how many kids out there can say like, yeah, I started the state championship game as a freshman on the mound, gave up 6 runs in 2/3 of an inning, like that's like an experience that not many people have. And then the fact that you have now the clarity that, probably in the moment when that happened, you were probably like, I never want to play baseball again. This is terrible. But, you played 7 years of professional baseball, and like now you're able to like impact so many people all over the world. So I think that, while in the moment, that was probably the worst thing ever. And I can look back to a lot of experiences in my career where I'm like, that was the worst thing ever. But now I have the clarity, and even like in business now, like I made so many mistakes, and now like that's why I can say things with such conviction, like, hey, Evan, stop doing that. Stop doing that, dude. You're literally just pulling yourself off track, because I was literally you a year ago. Like all these tools and no direction. So like I think what you're doing is awesome. And I know you're in it for the right reasons. And because of that, that's why you're having the success. You can't be a scammer in baseball training and have the success that you're having, in my opinion. You can't do it. So, um,
Yeah. Another note on that is just like me having the tools. I think for a lot of people that are probably listening to this and maybe are thinking about joining into the program, if you don't really have any of those tools, you don't have any of those skills, um, you're really told, hey, go fight this bear, and the only thing that you have is a stick in your hand. And you're just like, that's not fair. This guy, like to the next to me, he has a flamethrower, he has a nuclear bomb, he has all these tools at his disposal, but I got a stick. Like, what am I going to do with this stick? Um, and ideally, like if you start up something new, you're going to have a stick in your hand that you don't have any resources, you don't have the right mindset. You just have to like fight, really. So you join into this program, you don't know how to work Canva, you don't know how to post social media content, you don't know how to film yourself, you don't know how to talk to the camera. You fear the judgment of others when you do post on social media. That's going to hit home to a lot of people that are listening to this, because that's how the game of baseball is. Self-promotion isn't really a thing. Marketing isn't really a thing. You let the media talk for you rather than you doing it organically through your own channels. But anyway, over time, I feel like I've been able to acquire weapons by trial and error, understanding email marketing, text marketing, funnels, all that type of stuff, website design development. And I have these tools at my disposal, and I feel very confident that I'm able to deploy those tools, like clicking a nuclear bomb and knowing for a fact that now I have to face a dragon. I just click that button, and I'm very confident that in my skills and myself that we're good. We're good. So once I joined the program, I started thinking that way of, okay, I have all these tools at my disposal. Which ones am I going to grab from? And how am I going to fight off this dragon? And to be honest, I was very, very confident in my abilities once I got into the program because I was prepared for this.
yeah, no, you were, and that's why you had success, and I literally just made a YouTube video talking about that exact same concept, about how my program teaches people skills, right? Like obviously it's a system, it's a proven system, it works, but deeper than that, it teaches people skills that are going to serve them for life, how to run an Instagram ad. Like how many baseball guys know how to run an Instagram ad, So I guess like last thing I'll ask you, bro, and then I'll let you jump. What advice would you have for somebody who's maybe watching this and is like, oh, I want to do online training, but I don't know how, or even somebody that's like, oh, I could probably figure this stuff out on my own. Like Nick posts so much free stuff. Like, what would you say to that guy that's been watching my stuff for a little bit and is like, I really want to do this, but for whatever reason, they're not joining or they haven't hit me up yet. Like, what would you say?
You're going to like this one. And it's not a super complicated answer. I wish I started sooner. That's it. Like, I wish I started sooner. Especially with my understanding of social media, literally, if I started this back in 2019 when I posted my first TikTok, I have no clue where I would be at today. Financially, um, business, mindset, I would have no clue because I think I am a 2 out of 10 when if I started back in 2019, 2020, when I really started taking social media seriously. Obviously, I really wasn't selling anything back then. Like, I was selling merch. Um, I feel like if I was doing that at day zero, I would be, an 8 out of 10, a 9 out of 10. Like, I would literally be the best version of myself. But now I feel like I'm like 4 years behind that avatar, that Evan 8.0, that Evan 9.0. He's so much further than me, and now it's like my job to catch up to that guy that is ahead of me because I was, in simple terms, dumb for starting this so late.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we all were, right? And I always say this to people like, best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. So, dude, I
For so-
appreciate
for
you.
social media, same thing. I think the Hormozy, he said as far as social media content, the best day to start posting was the day that you were born. Second best day is today. Um, it's true. All I can think about is I grew my TikTok to like 360,000 followers, and if I just had like a sliver of an idea to like get them into a funnel and track them down and get them to the bottom of the funnel and just like close on them. Like I don't even want to, I can't fathom how much potential I would have had for that. It's hard to conceptualize.
Yeah. Yeah, but we're going now and you're on a good track. So you're,
Yeah,
you've been a lot of fun to work with, bro. Like for me personally, like knowing that you were an aerospace engineering major, makes a lot of sense. Because I can nerd the absolute fuck out and be like, yo, bro, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? What do you think about and
yeah.
it's cool. But dude, I just want to say thank you for obviously spending your time today with me. This is just the beginning. And yeah, I know you're gonna be my first mastermind member. Now we're whispering it, but no, I appreciate you so much, dude. Anything really quick that you wanna share before we jump?
No, I mean, I think we covered a lot. Um, don't think that it's a scam. I mean, at the end of the day, that's your belief. You got to look at yourself in the mirror, and you're the one that's telling yourself it's a scam. Like, not everyone in the world is saying it's a scam. There's people making millions of dollars every single day that look down on us, being like, "Congrats, bro. You'll get to my level at one day." But that hate, the skepticism, the scamming, that's always going to be coming from people beneath where, um, like you're at, where I'm at. Like when I've kind of done the math before, as far as the members that you've been able to join in, I'm like, Nick's killing it. Let's go. Like I don't have to be skeptical. I don't have to be skeptical and be like, oh, I wonder if he's making. It's like no, he's had this many people join. It's not that hard to do simple multiplication, like, and it's awesome to be able to be part of a community that really nurtures each other, um, is accepting of each other, has a goal in mind to what we're actually providing. So I think that's probably one of the coolest things that I feel like a lot of people probably don't even realize when they're buying into your program is like the community of other people that think very like yourself and how to navigate problems. That's been awesome. Those group calls are fire.
Yeah. Dude, it's the best part of the program, but
It
yeah.
is. It is. It really is. Just because like you're not I think also another thing, I haven't learned everything from you. And like I don't want you to like feel bad about that. I think that's part of
Not
the
at all.
community. I've learned from other people as well. So it's like, yes, you're getting access into the program, um, but you're really getting access to the community. One mind can be really, really smart, and that's great. But the way you say something, just like coaching in baseball, it's like if you're a coach and you tell me, knob to the ball, I'll be like, okay, all right, buddy, you don't know what you're talking about. Someone says the same exact thing, and he says, stay, keep your hands inside of it, not knob to the ball, and you're like, oh, okay, that's what I need to do. So like, not saying that you've ever told me something that it didn't necessarily always click, but like using a baseball example, since the majority of people listening to this are probably baseball coaches, players, people that are interested in the game, or possibly just athletes, like understand that there are a lot of similarities between the game that you've played for the majority of your life and business and how to construct a program and those key fundamentals that you're trying to like implement into your program. So it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, man. I appreciate your insight, dude. I can't wait to see where you go. Because I know that you're gonna kill it. If you are watching this and you want to join my program, you have any interest, go ahead. Booking a call, the link will be down below. Shoot me a DM on Instagram, DM any single one of my clients. They're all real people. They're not paid actors. But without further ado, I appreciate y'all watching this, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.